Hey friends, welcome back. It's Lauren with Rustic Honey, and I welcome you to join me for a cozy fall rainy day in our century farmhouse. We will also be making some comfort food, doing a little baking, and decorating our back porch finally for the fall season. So I'm excited to take you along and get busy making our home feel all sorts of cozy. Don't you just love a rainy fall morning? I know I do, and I wish we had many more of them around here, but we will take whatever rain we can get here at the moment. I was enjoying this particular day at home because my whole family was together, which right now in our busy season seems like it's happening less and less. And I've been reminiscing over our summer days, although they were quite crazy and hectic too, with 4 kids running around. I do miss them. I miss baking in the kitchen and having the kids running around in the background. So today just feels like the perfect day to bake something since it's rainy and everyone is home and cozy. So I am going to make some banana bread muffins and a banana bread. I've been cleaning out my freezer and I realized I have like 10 bags of frozen bananas. It's kind of ridiculous. I think I was saving them thinking I would make smoothies again, and then my smoothie blender broke, and that was my excuse to not do that. As you can see, I have camera helpers here. Kind of uneasy. Anyway, so we have all of these bananas, and I wanted to make some banana muffins and stick them into the freezer so that my kids will have an easy thing to grab before school in the morning or after school for a snack. And we all love the banana bread around here. I will, of course, link the recipe for you in the description box below, but it is from my blog, and I will tell you that it is one of my most popular and most pinned recipes of all time. And it continues to get views here on YouTube. I don't remember how long ago I started making this banana bread, but my family absolutely loves it. And since then, of course, I've made some muffins. I don't think the muffins turn out personally quite as good as the actual bread, but it could just be that they need a little bit more of my special icing at the end. When I make the bread, and you could probably also call this a cake because it's such a treat, but when I make the bread, my favorite part of it is around the edge, the very end pieces, like the heel of the loaf. And usually that's not what anyone wants, but I'm telling you, when you put the glaze over the top and then it sets and it cools there, it creates this perfect little crust of icing, and it is so delicious. So I thought we'll make them in the muffins and I'll ice those too, and then they might also get that little crust around the edges. And they did a little bit, but just not quite as good as the heel of that loaf. Now here I'm making the icing or the glaze that's going to go on top, and this is kind of like, you know, the cherry on top of this banana bread. It's powdered sugar. I do butter with it. Sometimes I'll hit it with a splash of milk and a little bit of vanilla, and I usually just whisk, and I don't really measure until I get it to the consistency that I want to pour over the top. And when these come out of the oven, I generally will ice them right away because it gives that icing a second and all that butter to just like melt over the top and seep into those corners like I was telling you about. And it is just heaven, especially on a fall rainy day. You guys know lately I've been talking about how this season has been so busy, and one way that I find that we must re-energize ourselves is getting a good night's sleep in our cozy bed. I'm really excited about today's video sponsor, Brooklinen. Brooklinen offers the best quality sheets. Recently, the sheets I had before completely ripped a hole in the fitted sheet, and we'd slept like that for a couple weeks, and I kept thinking, why have I not spent money on a good quality set of sheets? So the timing of Brooklinen reaching out could not have been more perfect. I think some things for our homes are worth spending more on. I'm tired of spending just a little bit on items and then having them fall apart a year later. And I believe that the quality in these sheets is going to last us for many years to come. I chose the washed linen hardcore bundle because I love that organic look that linen will give our bed, but I also love that it's a great year-round set. The washed linen is so comfy and soft. It's perfect for fall right now, but I can see it being a great sheet set for all year round. I love the soft and airy feel of the linen, and I just think it's going to get better and better with each wash. I absolutely love the green pinstripe linen sheets that I picked out, but they have a wide variety of sheet sets on their site, including their luxe sateen and their classic bundles. So be sure to check out all of the different varieties and even mix and match the colors to create a custom bed of your own. We recently also stayed in a really nice Airbnb, but I still looked forward to coming home into my own bed and my cozy sheet set. If you're looking to give Brooklinen a try, be sure to use my link below to save 15% off of your first order. And if you choose to get the hardcore bundle set that comes with a fitted sheet, a duvet cover, and 4 pillowcases, you will also save extra getting the bundle set. My link will be down in the description box below. And thank you again so much to Brooklinen for sponsoring today's video. Now, since we're in here making our bed cozy, I had recently bought this pillow and I thought it would be perfect for the front of our bed. And the green kind of brown color matches perfectly with this throw blanket that Dan and I received as a wedding gift 12 years ago. It's been a great blanket that we often use in the living room, but I like throwing it into our bedroom at the bottom of the bed. It kind of just makes it feel a little bit more fall-like in here and cozy for the season. And speaking of cozy for the season, I have to share this little find with you. This little nook, if you've been following along with the channel for a while, you know about this little nook and this little reading desk. And if you don't, I'll be sure to link to the video where we found it at the local antique mall. But this little nook has been a little bit dark because one of my overhead lights is out, and of course I could just buy another can light, but I wanted something that would be kind of a nice low light in the morning so that I could get out here and read while the kids are still sleeping and not have to turn on all the lights in this room. So I found this adorable little vintage inspired lamp on Amazon of all places. I'm not like a huge go to Amazon type person, but I will link it below for you because I think it is a great find. It is a fairly hefty metal piece too. It's not like a chintzy, plastic thing that's not going to last very long. But I love that it's rechargeable and it dims. It's just so stinking cute. I'll show you what it looks like again here in a little bit, but I had to assemble that as soon as it got delivered in the mail because I thought it was the cutest thing ever, and my kids are obsessed with it too. Now, on this cozy, rainy fall day, it's perfect crock pot weather, right? So I am going to actually start something in the Instant Pot. I had a frozen chicken breast that was fairly large, but it was the only one in our freezer. And like I said, I was just trying to clean some things out on this particular day. So I was trying to think of how I could stretch this into a meal for my entire family. So we're going to make chicken and dumplings. It's kind of something that it's a dump and go in the beginning, and then we'll make the dumplings in a bit. But my family loves it. It's a nice filling, hearty dinner and definitely screams fall to me. So we have the chicken breast going. I put in a little bit of water to get it going at the bottom with also some avocado oil just on the saute function. And then I threw in some baby carrots that I had on hand, as well as we're going to chop up just a few stalks of celery here. My husband loves the smell of just onion and carrots and celery. So anytime I make this and he walks in, he thinks it's going to be like the greatest dinner ever. I actually was out of chicken broth at the moment, and so this is going to be a little bit of a twist with what I would normally do. I would normally throw in some broth and some seasonings, but I had hard apple cider that I had bought to use for a roast, and I thought, why not just throw one in with this chicken? It'll be just fine. And then I just threw in a little bit of extra apple juice, so I had plenty of liquid going in here. And then onion as well. I have some, the dried minced onion you guys have probably seen me cook with a million times. I'm almost done with that. I don't know where it came from or how it got in my spice cabinet, but we have used a lot of it in our recipes lately. Now we're just gonna set this on manual for about 20 minutes since it was a really big frozen chicken breast, and we're just gonna let it cook until it's done. Meanwhile, I am going to get my dumpling mix together over here. So when I first started making chicken and dumplings, I had seen in an old cookbook from a friend that you could just take canned biscuits and cut up the biscuits in like quarters and then toss them into your crock pot towards the end of cooking, and it worked so well. I mean, it makes a great little dumpling. But then I tried a homemade dumpling and I found this recipe, which I will link for you down below, and it is so much more flavorful and of course I'm sure a little bit more healthy than a canned biscuit, but it is just, I just can't go back now because it's so easy to make this that it takes no time at all to throw this together. Now I will say that if you are going to do this I think it's better to do this in the Instant Pot or on the stove, because I have tried to use this dumpling mixture on top of my crock pot after it's done, but my crock pot doesn't get hot enough. And you'll see here in a minute, it'll make more sense, but you need your soup to be kind of simmering for it to be able to hold the dumplings and cook them without them falling apart and just becoming like a thickener for your stew, if you will. Again, it's going to make sense here in a minute. That's why I like making this in the Instant Pot, because then I can walk away, let the chicken and the soup part, cook while I'm doing whatever around the house. But you can easily do this on the stove too. So if you plan ahead at all, unlike me, you could definitely do it on, with thawed out chicken breasts. But this is what I'm doing today. Right now that we have all of the chicken shredded up really well, I'm going to put that back in there. I'm actually also going to add a tiny bit of water to our broth here too, because I feel like it needs a little bit more liquid volume. And I'm going to turn it back on the saute function to get it simmering, because you want it to be simmering a little bit when you go to putting in all of these dumplings. I'm using my little cookie scoop here, which is the perfect size for these little dumplings, and I'm kind of just spacing them out around here so that they get a second to let the water seep around them and kind of cook the exterior first. And then I'm going to carefully use my wooden spoon. I'm going to try not to break these apart, but I'm pushing them under that boiling liquid so that it continues to cook them, but keep them in nice little dumpling balls, which are just so delicious. I'm getting hungry just watching this again. Now I'm putting the lid on here just to let that steam continue to cook them throughout, but I do not pressure cook it. I just don't want you to be confused by my video here, but just putting that on while it continues. And it usually only takes about maybe 5 minutes for those dumplings to cook all the way through. I'll usually take one out and cut it in half with a fork just to make sure that it looks like a cooked biscuit on the inside. And oh, they are just so delicious. I love the flavors in these. Again, I am going to link this recipe. It's not my own, it's someone else's, but I'm going to link it for you because it's a keeper. And these dumplings are so yummy. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as my family does. I'm going to get the kids scooped up here and we're going to enjoy a yummy comfort food tonight. And just as we blinked, the fall has just set in. We recently celebrated my oldest's birthday, that was hard to say. He just turned 10, and that is a crazy thing to me. This poor kid, he is the only one of our 4 that has a fall birthday. And Dan and I have fall birthdays too. And it's funny how we just tend to celebrate in between all the chaos. It's like we try to celebrate on the day of our birthdays, but with all of the holidays and the busyness, I feel like we have to kind of like plan something on the calendar. So he still has some plans with some buddies later this month to celebrate his birthday, but I wanted to make it special for him on the morning of, and that's why I had that sign hanging in the kitchen. I'm gonna start some sourdough bread this morning. I've really been trying to get my sourdough starter back out of the refrigerator a little bit more, and these cool mornings have me so excited to get the oven fired up and make our home cozy with fresh baked bread. If you're interested in any of the sourdough stuff, I'm gonna link below a blog post I did with the tutorial I followed on how to start my sourdough starter, and then like my top 10 to 12 recipes that I use over and over again, so that you can try it out for yourself too. I am not going to claim to be any kind of sourdough expert, but you can think of me as your friend who's sharing what she has found success with. So I'm going to share my links with you in the description box below. Now, for weeks, I have said I want to cut down the corn stalks and get them on the porch, but again, life had been so busy, we hadn't really gotten to it. It's really extra chilly out this morning, and Dan does not want me, apparently. He doesn't trust me with his tools, so he's going to do the hard work for me here and chop down the corn stalks. I did it last year, and I don't mind doing it whatsoever, but I guess he wanted to get out and do it this morning for me, so I won't argue. I'll let him make the bundles and I'll tie him up and get him going here. I feel like the corn looks a little bit more broken down than it did a few weeks ago, so I was one of those things where I'm kind of kicking myself, like I wish I would have got this done sooner, but it's okay. We still have an abundance of corn stalks, and it'll look really nice when they all get bundled together here. And I guess you can't help it sometimes. You go through seasons, you're hard on yourself because you want to get it all done, but you and I both know that it's not possible to do it all, and obviously taking care of our family is way more important than cutting down old corn stalks just for decoration. But I love to make our porch as cozy as possible. I often will decorate the front porch. I think I'm going to do several bundles on our front porch so that it'll look nice and festive from the road. But I really want to go all out on our back porch because that's where our family spends most of our time. And I always look forward to like a Halloween movie night or just cozy TV time on the back porch when the weather is nice. This is where we want to hang out with our family and friends and invite them over and turn the lights on. So I really just want to make it as magical as possible for the season and put as much decor on the back porch as possible. We live out in the country, so it's not like curb appeal is the most important thing. You don't have, a lot of neighbors driving by anyway. So I just thought, let's dress up the back porch today and maybe put our pumpkins and our mums out and make our home as cozy as possible for the fall. We always tell people that this big covered porch is probably our favorite room in our entire home. And I think that that's definitely true in the fall when the weather's nicer, it's not so hot. We can turn on the fans and just really enjoy evenings on the porch, have dinner. I just can't wait. I'm so excited for it. Now, I had to laugh. This is me taking stuff off of my front porch. I made my family take family pictures on the front porch just a couple days ago, and so I put a whole bunch of decor right by the steps, and I felt like from the road it really wasn't doing much for the front porch anyway. So I was like, again, with wanting to just really dress up the back porch, I'm just going to steal that decor and try to make it as impactful on the back porch as possible. We still have pumpkins growing in our garden right now too. They're a little bit late, but I'm probably going to go start cutting those in the next few days and add to this as well. But I also had the thought that the mums need to be on the back porch anyway, because if they go to the front porch, they might as well go to die, because I will forget to look at them and water them every day. Here, Reese is showing me how pumpkins grow in the garden. They start with a blossom like that, and then they grow like the squash underneath it. And we had a few little baby ones that obviously aren't going to grow this late in the season. So Dan was showing her how it worked, and we decorated with it. I don't know if I'm completely in love with my assortment here, but I spread it out, and Reese helped me stack quite a few of the pumpkins. I'm going to continue to add to this and make this our magical fall space. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to hang out with you more often. and get into the fall spirit around here. Let me know in the comments below what makes it feel like fall for you. Maybe it's decorating the porch or making those comfort meals in your crock pot. I would love to know, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comments. It always makes my day. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the farm today, and I can't wait to see you back here again very soon.